Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. I urge you to follow me on social media at Prime Real Estate Ric. On Facebook, Instagram, just search for @Prime Real Estate Ric. That'll give you the opportunity to follow me and stay up to date with everything that's happening in the world of the Prime Real Estate Network and Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week, man. I hope everyone had the opportunity to enjoy their Independence Day and long Independence Day weekend. I hope everyone was able to travel in safety and spend time with friends and family. As always, my co-host is not only an author, serial entrepreneur, he is also a Texas real estate broker and known worldwide as the Texas Real Estate King. As always, I'd like to welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast my co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that warm welcome, Rick, as usual. It's good to be back in front of you. I think I've been, I've had like a two-week hiatus, feels like.
Hey, man, little break, man. You got to recharge your batteries.
No doubt, man. So I want to give a quick shout-out to Urban Events Global as well as Urban Camp Weekend. That's that first Thursday when I disappeared, man. I end up going down to New Brunswick.
No. You're not sneaking this in, man. You ain't giving me a chance to ask you what you did on the long weekend or none of that. You just going to try to come in and slide it in. So that's what you're going to share with us?
I did.
Your
man.
exploits over the weekend, brother.
Hey, wouldn't be exploits. I handled a little business while I was there, right? Continue to build out the brand while I was there.
Absolutely.
But man, when I tell you, it was something that I had never experienced before. It really reminded me of being a child and going to family reunions. And it was over 1,200 people there, but it was such a family feeling. Barbecue, everybody had tents and hanging out. We went rafting. I mean, it was really a great setup. It was a good frat brother of ours, Kevin Knight, is the host of the event. Him and his team really did a great job putting it together. So they do one in October. So just for those of you that are really into just going to be outdoors, tents, and maybe going out and just having a good time with some new friends, meeting new people. It was real organized. And so, hey, feel free to check out urbaneventsglobal.com, I believe it is, or Urban Camp Weekend on IG as well. So I just want to give those guys a shout out. I had a great time.
Oh, no, that's mad love, and I appreciate you showing love. And since you giving shout outs, I want to make sure I give the heartiest shout out to all my family, the Heidelbergs and the Carters, that put on a great family reunion this weekend. I was able to travel with my family out to Mississippi.
Okay, how was that? Because now I seen the photos from it, man. You look like you're not always a photo guy. So like, you have so many, the families going through your page. I was like, okay.
I know, a lot of times, man. I agree with you. I try to keep a lot of my social media posts professional, and then if it's gonna be personal, I try to make it me personally.
Yeah.
As opposed to imposing on my friends and family and putting them all over my timeline without permission. But with it being family reunion, man, I was so blown away by the warmth and the love of all of my cousins from Mississippi who I never had the opportunity to meet before.
Yeah.
So you'd be amazed at how strong blood ties can bind people who've never had the opportunity to meet or hang out.
Yeah.
So I would be remiss. If you are a Heidelberg, a Carter, a Peters, or a Davis, and you didn't attend this year's family reunion, I urge you all to attend the next family reunion because we had a blast. So I definitely wanted to give a fam shout out right there, man. I look forward to hanging out with everybody. And if this is your first opportunity to check out the podcast, welcome. Now we can get back down to real B.I.L. easy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
We can talk a little bit about these exciting gifts that we have.
But this what
here.
happened when you take 2 weeks off. So, we got to make sure we show love.
A little bit.
You got to, absolutely, man. Today's episode is entitled "It's Time to Buy." So our guests this week are two of the highest producing, most successful real estate entrepreneurs in the greater Houston area. Our first is Mr. Edward Gomez. He's a real estate professional with Walsall Properties, but he's also an investor as well as an entrepreneur and a real estate consultant. Our second guest is a proud realtor that we love to have over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. And his name is Mr. Fred Brooks Jr. Not only is he a business consultant, but he's also a published author as well. And I really look forward to getting some insight into Fred as far as the author and how that works in with his real estate practice. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience our guests, Mr. Edward Gomez and Mr. Fred Brooks Jr.
Good afternoon, people.
What up?
Gentlemen, hey, two things. Thank you guys for carving out some time to be in on the pod. Secondly, thank you for being able to show up to the pod a week after the Independence Day holiday. Because I know when it's the 4th of July holiday, everybody's traveling, everybody's hanging out. And I know that first week back, you like to focus on your clients and getting your book of business in order. So thank you, gentlemen, for carving some time out, especially during this particularly busy of a work week, to sit in with us. So I want to thank you guys publicly.
I thank you guys. I appreciate you for having us.
So I want to start off with you, Mr. Gomez. In my research of your brand and your real estate practice leading up to today's interview, I noticed a couple of things about the way that you practice real estate and what you do for your clients that's a little bit different from most realtors. So could you please share with our audience about what it is that you do with your real estate practice and how that's a little different from what most people would expect?
Yeah, so, one, I know you labeled me as an investor, and that's definitely the long-term goal. But let's get future investments is what I want to get into.
Absolutely.
I am working on my first fix and flip. I do find off-market properties. I feel to be labeled as an investor, though, that I need to have some type of producing income, right? Monthly passive income. So I'm working on that. I consider myself as a real estate consultant. My ultimate goal is to provide a solution, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm not an agent. I'm not an investor. It's more of how can I help you? And if it's not something that I'm able to provide myself, I find a solution for them, right? I use my resources.
Absolutely.
Or always I have point of contacts. So anybody that I meet, it's what can I help you with? Or what is it that you're needing, from leasing to purchasing to selling, from wanting to sell, get refinance, purchase. You want to find rental properties. You want to find a little project for yourself. You want to find a home with equity. What is it that you need? And I have multiple solutions for you. You need credit repair, things like that. So that's one thing. I'm not money hungry, but anytime I meet a client, and I'm a referral-based client, as you can tell, I don't say, hey, you need to purchase today, contact me today. I like referral based because that's what I'm really good at. It's
Absolutely.
how can I help you? I'm not here to pressure you to do anything, but let's see where you stand and let's come up with a game plan, whether it be 6 months, 12 months, the following year, and I have an inside team that can assist and put these plans together.
No, it's always so important for especially clients that aren't as experienced in real estate investing to work with someone like yourself that has a power team.
Yeah.
Where it's a one-stop shop, where you have inspectors, appraisers, all those type of things in your phone under your directory of co-branded partners and business partners, as well as people that you refer to. So that's outstanding as well. And I wanted to make sure I asked you too, Fred. The cool thing about having an opportunity to work with you over at Brooks and Davis is that I've had a chance to see how active you've been in the community, how every time there is an event and I go on my social media crawl, I always see you there. I remember how
Fred be getting them up, man.
Oh no,
doubt.
Fred is active. So I want to ask you, how do you feel your activity as far as being out in the community, the things that you did for Texas Black Expo? How has that helped you to accelerate your brand and build clientele quicker than most people would expect?
Well, man, that's a simple question, Rick. It's basically boils down to staying relevant and staying seen, because if people don't know you, they can't come to you for any services. You can't solve any problems. You can't provide any solutions. So, just finding that time to get out in the community and connect with people and network. You never know who you'll run across.
Right. And the thing about today's episode, and this is why I like to always ask our guests to talk a little bit about their companies, because now I want to go into, because today's episode is entitled "It's Time to Buy." So, and I'll start with you, Fred. Could you speak to the audience a little bit about what type of solutions you've been able to find for your clients to help them move into properties in the past 6 months to a year that you may not believe that the public at large is taking advantage of?
Well, Rick, I don't have one magic solution in particular, but what I like to do is pretty much work with lenders and mortgage companies that may have those solutions that I'm not aware of.
All right.
You know, I may, like you mentioned, the lift program. Yeah, that's one solution, but that's not all, and it doesn't fit everybody's situation. So just making sure that I'm teamed up with the right people and making sure that those people are genuine and looking out for the best interests of my customers, that's my solution.
Right, and I understand that too, and I wanted to make sure I asked Larry because I wanted to see if Mr. Brooks had noticed this as well. I've gotten, in the last maybe 7 to 10 days, at least 8 potential clients who've all reached out saying that they have an apartment lease expiring either at the end of July or at the end of August, which means that there's going to be a certain percentage of people who need to move into a new place before school starts.
That's right. Yeah.
Before Labor Day.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, Edward, for those people who are teetering in that decision, who's have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, who every day is pondering, when is a good time to buy? What can you tell them to let them know that right now is the best chance to take advantage of the opportunity?
Yeah, the way I go about that, it's, I see what their long-term goal is, right? And the first thing I tell anybody is whether they're looking to buy tomorrow and 5 years, to apply now. Because what happens is people hold off. They say, oh, I'm in credit repair, or I'm trying to fix up my credit, or I'm trying to pay off the ambulance bill from last year, and things like that. And what I tell these people is, like you said, their lease is up in August, so 30 days before their lease, they're like, hey, I'm ready to buy a home. Boom, all these hiccups come up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So my best advice to everybody is like, hey, look, apply today as if you need a purchase tomorrow. Therefore, we know where you stand, because the most upsetting thing is you set all these expectations like, my lease is up, I'm ready to apply, then boom. I got to say, hey, unfortunately, you don't meet this criteria, and now you're going to have to lease again, or we're going to have to find a co-borrower, right? Or things like that. So first things first is, before anybody has any expectations, is, hey, let's apply, because we don't know where you stand. You're looking at $300,000 houses, you may only get approved for $150,000. We have self-employed, they're like, man, I make 6 figures a year, but do they claim it?
Right.
So
it's funny, and I agree totally, and I think that is invaluable advice, because I've had clients where it works reverse, where they don't think they're in a position to buy.
Yep.
We pre-qualify them. Not only are they ready to buy, they are pre-qualified up to an amount that they were surprised that they were pre-qualified at. So not only were they like shocked that I can be a homeowner in as soon as 45 days, they've been shocked as far as what type of property that they qualify for. So I go over that same thing just like you do, Mr. Gomez, is let's pre-qualify, let's see where we stand, because you'll be surprised as far as what we can do right now. So there's no reason to drag our feet. Yeah. I wanted to ask you, Fred, because from what you've been mentioning, a lot of your practice is educating your clients. And I know one part of your educational process is through your books that you write and being an author. So can you talk a little bit about the books that you've published and what type of information that you're trying to get out there to the public?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, education is a big part and a key factor in making sure that we get people on the path to home ownership. And like Edward said, a lot of people don't know that they're in a position to buy a house, and there are steps that you have to take. And some people get defeated sometimes. They feel like, well, I've applied in the past, I got denied, I don't know what to do, I have to lease because I can't really get in the house. And my book kind of goes through, first of all, it's called Enlightening Tips for the Go-Getters. And it kind of goes through a little bit about me and my history. People see Fred today, but people don't know Fred.
Show us the book, please, Fred, please. And there it is.
There it is.
Look,
Got
it's
my
him and
copy.
everything.
Look
I
just
got
like
my
now.
copy, no doubt about it.
That boy
Absolutely.
went to the barber right
Yeah.
before he got that shit.
Come on, man. He's fresh, super fresh.
Yeah, but it goes into some trials and tribulations that I faced growing up, some challenges that I've had to overcome, and it goes into how I kind of felt defeated in some areas of my life. And by implementing certain tools on a day-to-day basis, I was able to overcome that. And even though I thought I couldn't reach a certain level, I was able to do so by implementing these factors.
And I'm glad you brought that up a little bit about your background, because when we come back from our break, I want to speak to both of you gentlemen about your entrepreneurial journey, any inspirations, and anyone you can credit as a mentor, because I think it's invaluable for our audience to understand what it takes and how you gentlemen have evolved as businessmen to what it is that people see today when they work with you professionally. So if you don't mind, gentlemen, I would like to, for both of you gentlemen, to at least share a little bit about your background with the audience, if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Everyone, stay tuned to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, because we're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area, and you find yourself falling in love with a home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963. And remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed.
Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. I urge you all to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in commercial or residential real estate in Greater Houston or anywhere in the great state of Texas, please stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com. And as always, if you're looking for the finest in men's and women's hats, fedoras, and designer eyewear, visit our latest sponsor at shopelitestyle.com. As always, my co-host is the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. But we have a special guest in the building today, Larry.
We got
Who
the
we got in the
Prince.
BI today,
We got
man?
the Prince in the building today, man. The Prince is Texas Real Estate King, right? Or the Texas Real Estate Prince. I think we're gonna. I might need to go ahead and .com that. But I forgot to say earlier, man. I had my son's been really hanging tough with me throughout this entire week, man. We've been just riding and networking. But I got Larry W. Brooks III in the building. You want to say anything, son?
Any shout out to LB3?
The patent LB answer.
He say
No
not.
doubt. I wanted to give my man a shout out. Thank you
Hey,
for joining
brother,
us,
man.
son. I appreciate
Good
you.
to have you in the
buddy.
studio today, my dude. Good to have you in the studio today. I would like to introduce, from our first segment, our guest for today. We have from Walzell Properties, Mr. Edward Gomez, and from Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, Mr. Fred Brooks. Thank you for stopping in today, gentlemen.
Appreciate you having us, Rick.
Oh, man, in the first segment, we talked about both of you gentlemen's real estate brands, what it is that you bring to the public, and how you educate your clients. But I want to talk a little bit about both of you gentlemen's professional journeys, your entrepreneurial path, and who inspired you to start your own companies, build your own brand, and actually push that professionally. So I would like to start with you, Fred. When you think back to your time as a youngster and your upbringing, were there any friends or family that you can pinpoint that might have inspired you or showed you the path to entrepreneurship?
Man, I would have to say my dad. My dad's been an independent contractor in the trucking industry for about 33 years now.
Wow, that's
You know,
consistency.
and he's 73 years old and he's still going.
Yeah.
Not because he has to, but because he actually enjoys doing what he do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being said, he would always tell me, you need to get your own business. You need to do your own thing. People are not going to treat you like you're going to treat you. And so I just took that to heart. And as I got older and started evolving in my entrepreneur journey, I started getting around people that really helped bring out that spirit in me.
How does and I didn't even, and that's a great answer, and I wanted to ask you, and this as a follow-up, how did your father react the first time you showed him your first published book? For a gentleman that has owned his own trucking company that long, to see his son with his face on the front of the book, how was that interaction the first time you introduced that to him?
Man, my father's a jokester. So the first thing he told me was, man, you almost look like you got some sense.
Well, you said he's a joke.
Right.
You knew that response was coming.
And I said, if I don't have any, then I'm gonna attribute that to you.
Right. Because I'm sure that was a moment that you won't soon forget. Because when you have someone, especially like a father, that you've seen carve out his own journey as a businessman, for you to have something and show him that as your son, I'm elevating the family name, especially as someone who's a junior.
Yeah.
Show your pops that, like, look, man, this is what we got going on. So I'm sure that's something you won't soon forget. And I want to ask you, Edward, during my research before your interview, I noticed that you're going to have a blessing into your life in the very near future. You're going to have an addition to the family.
Yes, sir.
So I want to ask you, the fact that you have your baby on the way, how has that changed your real estate practice and how you evaluate what's important in life and put things in its proper perspective?
In many ways, one, coming from a single mother, fatherless, I've already set my future that I wanted to start a new family foundation, right? Everything that's been broken, I wanted to recreate it and bring the family back together because it's been broken. And I believe in family reunions. I believe in checking up on each other. So I believe in being all in and being all the way committed to where I want my daughter to be raised by her mother and her father, right? I've become laser focused and hasn't really hit yet, but just being in a position to where people have empowered me, my mentors, I want to be in a position to empower my daughter. So to pass something on. So nothing was ever passed on to me. And then I want to be able to be talked about, saying that, hey, my father left this legacy. And being in real estate, being on the investment side, you hear a lot of people, I got this property from my uncle or my sister or my brother. So I want to be able for my daughter to have wealth already. So, there's a lot of things that come in that, being a better role model, being a better example. Just being a better person, all the way around. So
the thing about it that I want to give you credit for publicly is because you've just explained to us what's motivating you and inspiring you now. But the great thing is that you had already established yourself as a businessman before the baby was on the way.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, and just quickly, about who was your initial inspiration when you were just a young guy? When you were thinking about, man, I don't know how I'm going to make my way in this world. Who was the person that said, look, man, go out and get it for yourself and provide for your family off the sweat of your own brow?
No one. I grew up in north side of Houston, Moody Park.
North side representatives.
And
absolutely, all day. Come on, baby.
And we're not exposed to anything.
Right.
I was the first in my family to go to college. I dropped out the first 6 months. It's not talked about. No one's really doing big things. I mean, no one in my family, everybody was contractor, painting. It wasn't exposed. So for me, I just kind of grew up like when I transitioned from HISD to Sci-Fair my freshman year of high school. So that already was a big transition. So that's the environment of the different demographic and school being top 10 and what college am I going to? I was like, that's the cool stuff here. It's going in college and being in these advanced classes. So no one, I had no motivation growing up. It was trying to figure things out on my own, how to pay for college on my own, hitting rock bottom. And, one of the things that I live by is what wisdom cannot teach, rock bottom can. And I had to hit rock bottom.
And see, this is the thing about a lot about your business plan and the foundation for your practice that I aspire to achieve is that you are in a position where you're open to mentor the youth.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be someone, an aunt or uncle, who's gonna hear this episode and see your interview and is gonna like, that Mr. Edward Gomez guy reminds me of a nephew, a cousin. And they're gonna share this with him and say, check this guy out. You remind me of him.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for putting yourself out there, because sometimes as a businessman, and Larry, I'm sure you can speak to this, is that we get pulled in so many directions that you have to plan time for community service.
All the time.
You got to schedule community outreach.
Yeah.
So I want for you to share right now your number, contact info, and how anyone who hears this interview or watches this video can reach out to you and contact you for real estate consultation, or mentorship.
Yeah, of course, my name's Edward Gomez. Instagram is probably where I'm most active. It's Edward Gomez Jr. There's plenty of ways, to get involved with me. I speak to high schools. The Helping Hands Project is actually coming soon as my nonprofit. I host my toy drive every year, so this would be my 4th year. Provide toys, haircuts,
Oh, that's lovely.
food, photo booths for over 200 kids. I have sponsors as Chick-fil-A, Rudy's Barbecue, radio stations. So any way anybody wants to get involved, just, reach out to me. And whether it be volunteer, sponsorship, mentorship, I've been through a lot. So I like to share my experiences and kind of feedback to my
And
guys.
I urge everyone, please follow this gentleman. We at the Prime Real Estate Network is definitely going to be involved with his toy drive, so please keep us up to date with all the information as we get closer to that date. I wanted to ask you, Fred, with the books, with the real estate, how can people get in contact with you, get a copy of your book, and pick your brain from a real estate perspective?
All right, again, my name is Fred Brooks Jr. You can get a copy of my book at www.enlighteningtipsforthegogetters.com. Again, that's www.enlighteningtipsforthegogetters.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Fred Brooks Jr., the Realtor. Facebook, the same thing. My email address is fredbrooksjr, the Realtor, at gmail.com. And my cell phone number is area code 713-364-8191.
How can people get in contact with you and meet you face to face and get in and talk to you a little bit about either pursuing a career in real estate or get in contact with you about going out and viewing properties?
Glad you asked, Rick.
Thank you.
No doubt about it.
Well, on Wednesday, July 17th at 6:30 p.m., we're actually having a real estate career fair at our office, Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. That address is 2600 South Loop West, Suite 310. That's in Houston, Texas. And if you just want to meet me personally, talk about real estate, network, whatever questions you may have concerning consulting, or if you want to get a copy of my book, I'll be there.
Absolutely. As always. Mr. LB2. Since we got LB3 in the building, Mr.
We do,
LB2,
we
man.
do.
What we got going on this week, brother? Man?
You
Where
know,
can
man,
people reach out to you?
I'm gonna be at the event tonight. I'll be at the event on July 17th that Fred was just speaking of. Tonight, if you are in the Loop area, at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, we'll have a special guest speaker coming out and just talking about you as a realtor, how you can leverage your current contacts and build out your business. So if you're near the 610 Loop, feel free to come by. It's the same address that Fred just had. Please feel free to go back and listen to the audio and the video. But other than that, Rick, I'm here, man. I'm in the city.
Hey, man, that's great, man. It's good to have you.
Not next week though. I'm
Pull
in
it up on
California next week.
It's good to have you here, and I want to thank both of our guests today, Mr. Fred Brooks Jr. and Mr. Edward Gomez. I think the stories that you gentlemen shared today were invaluable and enlightening. I hope they touched the audience as much as they touched Larry and myself, so I want to thank you guys for sitting in on the pod this week. Everyone, I urge you all, if you need any information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, reach out to me directly, Mr. Brooks, or any of our guests. And if you don't remember any of our hashtags at the time, you can always go to our website at brooksanddavis.com, and it will be our pleasure to work with you and provide you with any information and education needed for you to make a solid real estate investment choice. On behalf of myself, Rick Davis, and my co-host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, thank you for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. We'll see you all next Thursday, and be blessed.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.